Your lead has finally shared all their project details via the multi-step slider, and now you're going to prepare and send them over a proposal. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to set up our proposal functionality over on Wiz. And before we do that, let's check out the demo real quick. So we're currently viewing the proposal, of course, and the user can see that they have the option to, of course, accept the proposal or ask for adjustments if they feel the need to. Now, one thing I want to point out is that the adjustments opens up a modal which is not connected to our database. This is just using native Webflow functionality. So if they were to send this form, you would be notified via email like you do with Webflow. But yeah, this is not tied in with Wized. And of course, clicking on accept proposal would immediately accept the proposal, of course. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, perfect. So what just happened is, of course, we get this modal that says proposal has been accepted. The page then reloads. And of course, all the buttons are gone now. And you'll notice that it also tells you that the proposal has been marked accepted on July 4th, 2023 by John Doe. Now the date is coming from a custom code, custom JavaScript code that takes in the date. And the name is also coming from Airtable. And if you scroll down, which I completely forgot to show you, we also previously have a banner, which has the buttons there. So that's gone as well. So yeah, in this video, this is exactly what we're going to learn. All right, so let's jump over to Webflow real quick. Now, let's address the elements that we're going to be focusing on to set those things up on Wiz. All right. So scrolling. Okay. So firstly, on the navigator panel, you'll notice that there is this component here that is called Airtable record ID, and it's basically a text element here. If you were to click on this and go over to the settings cog here, you'll notice that you have the element ID, which is of course the element ID for the text record. The text element, and then you have your Wized attribute. So you can set the Wized attribute name straight from here, and more importantly, you need to have your Airtable record ID put into this. I'm going to head over to Airtable in a bit, but yeah, this is extremely crucial. So we're going to pretend that we just wrapped up on creating this proposal here. So if you go through the build, you'll notice that the entire thing is just static text and rich text. So you can just put it, hide certain sections. You can add more sections if you want to. None of the actual content of the proposal is connected to Airtable. This is done completely on Webflow. And of course, this goes without saying. If you go into the page settings here, you'll notice that the proposal is just a static page. And if I click into the settings cog, I'm not going to go through the code right now, but yeah, you can duplicate this page as many times as you want to create several other proposals. Okay, now what other elements do we need to focus on? So we've covered the Airtable record ID, and then scrolling down here, you'll notice that we have this text here called accepted. So we just leave this as is. This is something that we will be tying in with Wized. And then we have these two buttons here, accepted proposal and ask for adjustments. The ask for adjustments is not tied in with Wized, but the accept proposal is. And then we have the success banner that tells the user that this has been marked as accepted. So basically once the proposal has been accepted, we got to make sure that the user can no longer interact with the proposal. And scrolling down, we have another banner, which is this right here, just to make sure that we make it easier for the user to accept the proposal once they reach to the end of the page. And that is that. And then finally, we also have a loader, which is currently hidden, but if I head over to Wiz, you'll notice that it's actually display. It shows up. So it's set to block via the code. Okay, so let's go through the custom code that we have for the proposal. So if I scroll down, inside head tag, you'll notice that I've included these two tags here so that this page is not indexed by Google. We don't want to have this indexed by Google at all. This is sensitive information here. And then we have the style, which is the proposal loader wrapper, like I mentioned. So yeah, on this, we actually set the display to flex. Because we don't want to hide this, which is why we set this to flex. And then moving on, we have just this small script here, which essentially grabs the value of the Airtable record ID and then sets it as the URL parameter. And then what we do on Wiz is that we grab that URL parameter, sorry, the Airtable record ID, and then we check the status of the proposal. If it has been marked as accepted, then it shows the buttons. Well, it hides the buttons, and if it hasn't been accepted, then show the buttons. So essentially, that's essentially what it does. Okay, so that's that for the custom code. Now let's quickly head over to our Airtable and check out the table that we're dealing with here. Okay, so on Airtable, let me run through each of these fields. We have the project name. You obviously just need to put in your project name here. And this is a formula field, which is our record ID. This is automatically generated by Airtable. And then we have a link field, which is the project field. And you would need to, which would lead you to this table right here. But we're not going to be focusing on this table right now. So this is something that we'll be handling later on. Okay. And then we have this field here, which is a checkbox field, and we're calling it project accepted. So essentially what this does is when someone clicks on accept button, this is checked. And when this is checked, the project has been marked as accepted. And then we have this field here, which is button visibility. Now, this field is responsible for hiding and revealing the proposal button. So what I mean by that is if I go over to Webflow here, you'll notice that this banner over here, so this div block is basically hidden away. So if the button visibility is set to false, actually I forgot, let me just quickly check the formula. So if project is accepted is equals 0, then it's true, and if not, then it's false. Okay, so button visibility, when it's set to false, the button should be hidden away. So that's exactly what we're doing. Because the proposal has been accepted, that's why the button visibility should be set to false. And because it has been set to false, this is hidden away, and this success banner comes into view. And if you scroll down, this banner is also hidden away. Okay. All right, so let's go back to Airtable here. And then we have the client name. It's super important. Now, this has to be manually input by you. So you would have to put in your client name here. So yeah, that's that. And then we have the PDF. Again, the PDF part of it. So once the proposal has been accepted, you can just take a screenshot of that entire page, turn it into a PDF, and then manually upload it here. But we won't be focusing on this field right now. We will be circling back to this when we are building out the dashboard. At the moment, you can just ignore this for now. Then we have our date accepted, which is basically an auto field. So you don't have to edit this at all. And then because so basically this just logs in the time. This logs in the date on which the proposal has been accepted. And then what it does is that this formula field here, date accepted pretty, takes in this date and then formats it in this way. So July 4th, 2023. If you're not great with if you're not great with Airtable formulas, my advice to you would be to seek help from Google Bard in constructing formulas. So yeah, because ChatGPT is not updated with the formulas, so I would highly recommend using Google Bard for this to help you out with your formulas. Okay, so that's that for date accepted pretty, and then we have accepted text formula field. So essentially, when the proposal has been accepted, we create this formula that essentially concatenates this text here alongside with the date and time it has been formatted, alongside with the client name. So this is what it would look like. Proposal marked accepted on July 4th, 2023 by John Doe. So this is the text that you see here. This is coming straight from Airtable. And the accepted date here is coming from here. Now, with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to create another, actually, we're going to delete this record. No, before I actually delete this record, let me just copy that, delete this, and create a new record. Paste this in. Okay, perfect. Now it has been pasted in. What we're going to do is jump over into our Webflow. And then first things first is that we're going to click on Airtable record ID and go back to Airtable here, copy this record ID. And with the component selected, we want to change this. Once it has been changed, we're going to push this. All right, perfect. So now that it has been published, we can jump over onto Wized, and let me just reload this page real quick. Okay, the page has been reloaded. So now what we're going to do, first things first, is we're going to head over to page data. And if you remember correctly, we need to create a parameter called proposal record ID. So we need to do that first. So we're going to call this proposal record ID. So the reason why we're doing this is if I head over to Webflow here and show you the custom code that we have, you'll notice that the custom code grabs the proposal record ID from the text element, and then it creates the proposal record ID. So you can copy this as well from the custom code and then head over to Wiz and create the parameter here. So now that the parameter has been created, let's create our first data in request. Okay, so we are going to call this data in as load proposal. Actually, load, or yeah, let's call it load proposal. So essentially what we're going to do is first we're going to create our data in request, and then we're going to create our data out, and then we're going to move on to setting up all the actions. So with that being said, okay, so we have the load proposal, and then we're connect that to Airtable, database, get item, base is client portal, table is, what was it again? Proposal. Okay, now record ID is going to be coming from our proposal record ID, because of course the custom code sends the value to the URL parameter, and then Wiz grabs that value and puts that in there. And limit fields, well, actually we don't need to do that. Okay. Now once that is done, we need to set a trigger. So we need to click it on attribute present, and we're going to set this to proposal wrapper. So in case if you're wondering, that is, so if I head over to Webflow here, so basically the proposal wrapper is this entire thing. So this div element here, and you'll notice that I've applied the Wized attribute here, the proposal wrapper. So we're going to trigger it with this, and that's that for the data in. Now I'm not going to run the test on this now before, actually, however, what I will do is create a folder called proposal. Save that, click on load proposal again, make sure it's listed into proposal. Okay, now that is done. All right, so what we're going to do now is create a data out actually, before we do the data out, let's create our folder. Proposal. Perfect. We have our proposal, and now we can create our... Okay, so what do we call this? We call this accept proposal. So this data out would trigger when someone would click on the accept proposal over here and over here. I believe that both of these buttons share the same attribute. So we have accept proposal button. If I click here, accept proposal button 2. Oh, okay. Well, we'll handle that over on the action. So that doesn't matter. Oh, right. Okay. So click on Airtable, database. We want to update the item. Client portal, table, proposal. Okay, now record ID, it's the same story here as well. We want to grab this from the proposal record ID, which is the parameter that we want to grab this record ID from. And what exactly are we editing here? Okay, so let me just look at my notes real quick. Okay, so we just want to set this, and that's it, true. Set this to true. Boolean, yep. That is it. That's the only element that we want to update. Apart from that, everything pretty much stays the same. Also, we need to add an after request, so let's go ahead and do that. So basically what we want to do is, we want to leave this as a conditional. Accept proposal when status code. So we want to execute this when, of course, this data out request is successful. And we want to trigger load proposal, which is our data in. So if you remember correctly, when you click on accept proposal, the entire page reloads. So that's essentially what we're doing here. All right, perfect. Now our data in and data out has been, setup is complete. We can move on to the actions. So let's scroll all the way up to the top. Let's create our first action. Well, actually, before we start off on that, let's create the proposal folder for actions. All right, awesome. Now we are going to focus on the proposal loader first. Put this in the proposal folder and then target the proposal loader. So yeah, this loader right here. And we want this to be visible. We want to set its visibility, basically. Actually, proposal loader visibility. Yeah, let's change it to that. It makes a lot more sense that way. So basically, we want it to be visible when it's requesting. So this is the load proposal. When load proposal is requesting, which is true, only then it should be visible. All right, so that's that. Let's close that. All right, and now let's create our other one, which is get proposal. Set proposal visibility. Okay, so this is going to affect the wrapper that contains the entire proposal content. So essentially what we want to do is that when the data in request is successful and all the data has been pulled in, only then show the entire proposal details. And if I head over to Webflow, and so with the proposal wrapper selected, you'll notice that the entire content is inside this wrapper, proposal wrapper, and it has the Wized attribute of proposal wrapper. So you head over to Wiz and change that to proposal, and then proposal wrapper, set visibility. Okay, let's do this again. So this is going to be has requested, and status code is 200. Yeah. So basically, we want to make sure that the has requested is set to true, and status code is 200. Only then it should, only then it should show us the proposal content. At the moment, you'll notice that the Boolean is coming across as true, and that is because if we head into the page data, refresh the page, and if I scroll down on here, you'll notice that the proposal record ID is being filled in. That's because of our JavaScript code. So it's grabbing the proposal record ID and it's filled in the parameter right here. And because of that, our action is coming across as true. So let's see if this is working, if our loader and the content is loading up. Okay, perfect. It's loading up. Okay, so now let's focus on the proposal accepted loader. So which is this right here. So let's focus on this button over here. Okay, so proposal accepted loader. Set visibility to proposal accepted loader. Quite a long name, but the more descriptive, I think it's helpful. Okay, so let's wait. It's called proposal accepted loader, which is that one. Yeah. So we want to affect the visibility, and that is, it should be visible when this data out request of accept proposal is being requesting. So yeah, it's valid when its requesting is true. Actually, you don't even have to put this in. You can just, you can just leave it as it is requesting. Yeah. All right, so that's done over there. Then we're going to move on to creating another. Oh, something is going on. Okay. Oh, before I do create, let me just put this into the folder, proposal folder. Perfect. Now we're going to work on the proposal button, the accept proposal button. So we're going to call it accept proposal trigger and put this in the proposal. Now apply to, obviously we have two buttons here. So this one is called Wized accept proposal button. Scrolling down, we have this button here as well, accept proposal button 2. So we're going to select both of these to the same action. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Accept proposal button and accept proposal button 2. Okay, so on click, we want to perform a request and execute accept proposal. That's it. We're going to close that and move on to the next action. Okay, so for the next action, we are going to set the accepted date. So what we're going to do is, all right, click another action, set proposal accepted date. Let me put this in quotes. Okay, set proposal accepted date. Put this in proposal apply to. Let me switch on the X-ray proposal accepted date. Configuration, set text, HTML. Okay. There we go. So basically it's coming from our load proposal. So it needs to come from this field here, date accepted pretty. And there we go. So that's that for the accepted date. Now next, we're going to move on to the proposal accepted banner. Okay, so let me close this, create another one. Proposal accepted banner. Put this into proposal, apply to proposal, oops. Accepted banner. Okay, so obviously we're going to be setting the visibility for this, and it's going to be only visible when set visibility. Okay, so when we load up the proposal, we want to check project accepted. Date button. Okay, so let me just quickly check this out. Okay, so project accepted. Oh, right. Okay, so this field is not showing up. It's not showing up because it's not checked. So that's why I'm not able to find it here. So what we're going to do is, because I've done this before, R2D to R2D, and then I'm going to put project accepted, and then we're going to set this to true. There we go. Okay, so this has to be exactly the same as our field in Airtable. All right, so I'm going to circle back to this anyway. So yeah, let's not worry about, oh, actually we need to put this in backtick like that. All right, I think we may need to revisit this in a bit. Okay. All right, now according to my notes, we need to move on to the next one, which is the proposal button wrapper. So I'm not sure which one that is. So let's find out. All right, so proposal button wrapper. I believe it's this one here. Let's check it out with our X-ray. Okay, so that's not helpful. I believe it's this wrapper that contains these two buttons here. Oh yeah, there we go. Proposal button wrapper, proposal button wrapper. Okay, so we're gonna set the visibility for this. Okay, got it. So proposal button wrapper. Okay, so we got two of these proposal. Oh yeah, we got another one right at the bottom here. So we need to set that as well. Okay, so let's do that as well. Button wrapper 2. And then we set its visibility, visible if. So this one is going to be quite easy. So it's only going to be visible if it's marked as true. There you go. So if you remember correctly, on Airtable, we have this separate field that declares if the button wrapper should be visible or not. If it's set to true, then it should be visible. If it's set to false, then it should be hidden. So that's what we're doing here on Wiz. Okay, and that is done for the proposal button. And I believe we're on to our final one, which is going to be the proposal accepted banner text. So accepted banner text. Okay, so basically it's this, if I switch off X-ray, it's this text over here. So we're gonna set this text it's coming from our Airtable. So it's this text over here. So that's going to be set by Airtable. So we need to connect this to our Airtable field. So this is proposal accepted text. And we are going to use set text and HTML, and the text itself, I believe we might not be, oh, there it is. Okay. accepted text. Okay, yeah. Don't worry about the error right now. It should be fine. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. So time to test this out. Okay, let's refresh this again. All right, so page loader is good. Everything is good. Okay, so, this loader, there's this loader. I think it's popping up here. That's not working. Okay, but let me just quickly accept the proposal to see if this is working. Okay, so the button wrapper didn't work. All right, the accepted date worked. The success banner didn't show up. Okay, so this banner has also gone now. It's gone. So I wonder what's happening. Okay, so proposal accepted banner text. So let me go over to here and proposal accepted banner. Let's look it up. Aha. So if I set this to true. Okay, so it was the backticks. All right. So yeah, I was right. We needed to revisit this. So essentially what happened is the proposal banner text was not showing up because, again, I put those backticks there. That's why. So it should work now if I refresh this. Okay, so proposal mark accepted on July 4, 2023 by, shoot, I forgot to set the client name. I did say that this was something that we were going to have to put in. So we're going to do this now. John Doe. Okay, so let's revert back here and refresh this again. All right, there we go. So proposal marked accepted on July 4, 2023 by John Doe. So yeah, that's working. Now, what I'm going to do, clean this up a little bit. I'm going to put this into the proposal folder here. That's done. Now what I'm going to do is head over to Airtable, uncheck this. So that with that being unchecked, if you jump over to Wiz now and refresh this, you'll notice that our success banner is gone. Our buttons are back in view. Now time to resolve this issue here. So see this extra bit of spacing that we're looking at over here? This should not be there. So let's try to resolve that. Okay, so if I head over to Airtable, sorry, Webflow here. What is this called? Proposal accepted loader 2. Okay. Okay, accepted. Oh, right, okay. Got it. So I was only targeting this single element, proposal accepted loader, which is this one here. It should also be targeting this one here as well. So let's do that now. All right, so proposal accepted loader 2. And there we go. This should fix our problem. There we go. It's gone now. So let's try accepting the proposal from this button here. So yeah, hopefully that wasn't too hard. And if you have any questions, please do leave a comment and I will catch you on the next tutorial.